So today we will be seeing SCADA. That SCADA stands for Supervisory Control and Data Acquisition. What exactly is this SCADA? So SCADA is a kind of system which will be used in most of your automation industries, like your food processing industries and chemical industry, and where you have water treatment plants and oil and gas and any other manufacturing industry. So why exactly is this needed? Because they have a lot of hardware components which must be controlled, and this control can be done using another software component which is called as SCADA. So SCADA is a software and it uses your PLCs and HMIs. So in your industry setup or in the field, you can have your PLCs. Now what is PLC? It's a programmable logic controller. It's like what is a microcontroller? It has your processor along with the input output ports. So PLCs is something which is like only the processor. It doesn't have all the input output, and these are little smaller in scaling compared to your microprocessors. So what these do, they are mainly used in your relay networks to control different number of sensors, actuators, and all the temperature scanner or etc. So this is where PLCs will be used. And if you have any remote units, so in your RTUs, you will have your computers which will help the supervisor there sitting there to interact with the system. So in such remote access places, you will have your HMIs, that is human machine interfaces. So these systems and your PLCs all together will be controlled by one software, which is your control center, that is the SCADA system. So SCADA hence is the combination of all the hardwares and softwares. So we'll see one example here. So this is an industry control system, a small example. So here is the control center and here is where the SCADA works. So you'll have a main hub and you have a lot of hardware components, and these hardware components like your sensors, units, actuators, all these are all together called as the field instruments. Also you have units. These are your remote terminal units or RTUs, and in RTUs also you can have either human interface or you can also have a PLC. So all these units will be connected to the main hub, and this will be controlled by your SCADA. So it consists of three main things. One is the supervisory control center, which is your HMI or PC databases where the control is actually happening. Another is the communication network. What network you will use to communicate. It can be wired or it can be wireless, and some of the networks used are Modbus, and you can use even LAN, Ethernet, and some means of communication. And you have the field units. What is there actually in the field? It can be any sensor, it can be a digital or analog thing, it can be a PLC, it can be a PID, it can be valves, sensors, motors, anything. So all the hardwares you can see here like this. So you'll have a field and you'll have a communication network, and then you'll have the supervisory control, and you must be controlling the entire thing, and it is called data acquisition. It will acquire every kind of data. The data, it might be related to your network, when a network became heavy, when it became when the network had more traffic, etc. Or it can be related to your sensor, what was the sensor's reading when an actuator got activated. Or it can also be regarding your human machine interface, when some human gave a command or anything it can be. So every kind of data will be acquired and controlled in your SCADA system. So we will be studying how the SCADA has adapted to your IoT. That is, it's completely something that is in your OT industry, right? It's an operational technology industry which is completely operated with some software. So it has evolved over huge time. That is, your initial SCADA wasn't capable enough to communicate with any system outside a particular vendor. So if one vendor is manufacturing, only that vendor can join into your SCADA system. But later on it became open source and it started accepting outside vendors to communicate or join the network, and so it became widespread. Even then it wasn't that famous because it did not support the SQL database. Since SQL was a highly used database then, SCADA would not support it, so it wasn't famous. But then it adapted to SQL, and it also adapted to your TCP IP protocols. Like when you had SCADA, you can have several different communication networks. So there wasn't one particular proper protocol where every one of the device, hardware or software could communicate with. Since I told IP has IoT network layer, that is, we are trying to take IP itself. So in SCADA, how it adapted to IP, that is, it used this protocol DNP3. So this is responsible for making a common protocol base for all the software, hardware in your SCADA system, so that it can communicate with the IT layers like your network layers. So this DNP3 is something like your adaptation layer like 6LoWPAN, which will help you to communicate the OT with the IT. So the lower layers communicating with higher levels is possible because of this protocol. Now what exactly is DNP3? It's an open standard communication protocol and its main use is in SCADA systems itself. Now why do you need such a protocol? It's very obvious. You have so many computers, you may have remote terminal units, and you have non-RTU equipments like your sensors, actuators, motors, and you have the master stations where you have your human machine interfaces where the controls are happening. So all this need a compatibility between them. So that they might be from different vendors. Your computers might be from different vendor. Somebody else may be manufacturing your remote terminal unit. Some other person might have manufactured your human machine interface. So how are they all going to communicate? So that compatibility is required. For example, some brand X is using some protocol X. Another company Y you are selecting for some other part is using some other protocol. How will you make these two protocols communicate? This is where the system gets stuck. So what you have to do is you have to make a common protocol. So this is your DNP3 and it helps you for the overall communication in SCADA. Now where exactly your DNP3 is used? So first, your DNP3 is used in electrical utilities, and this was the original purpose why it was first coined or designed. So it was used for electric utilities, and then it was used for water and sewage treatment plants, oil and gas and transportation, and any other SCADA environments you can use your DNP3 protocol. So it has one master and it has several outstations. These outstations, it can be an agent, it can be a terminal unit, or it can be anything. So you'll have one master, and this master station is called as your HMIs or the SCADA stations. So these are the terminologies. You can tell it has outstation and master, or you can tell RTU and master station, or you can tell an agent and manager. Anything you can use. The system is something like this. And what kind of information is actually acquired here? So upstream means from the outstation what kind of data goes to your master. So what kind of data goes? Suppose a sensor is on or off, or some actuator, whether it was okay, it ran successfully, or it was a failure. So some discrete values can go. Also you can have analog values like the reading of your temperature or humidity or voltage, or it can be current. So some analog values can be there, or it can be some counts like your alarm counter, etc. So these values are the data that is going to be passed from your outstations to the master. That is the upstream data. Next is the downstream data. That is what comes from the master to the outstations. So you can have control commands like on a particular sensor of or off it. So commands like that, or you can have commands like activate a particular device, etc. Or you can set some values, like if I have to set a temperature to something, I can tell set to this for any analog values. So these kind of commands are the data that is moving downstream from masters to the outstations. Now what will your DNP3 allow you to do? First thing is, it will help you to view. So real-time data and your history, everything can be viewed in your DNP3. That is all your temperature, humidity, battery level. You can see what is the current value, or you can also see how it is currently changing with respect to one another, or you can also see the history, what and all was there. So it will help you to view, and if there is anything, if you find any fault, it will help you to detect and correct the problems very quickly. And it will help you to eliminate bottlenecks. Since you are studying it, you can find out what are the bottlenecks, or what particular unit is actually creating a more probable suspect for failure. So you can eliminate such bottlenecks and inefficiencies, and you can control larger, more complex processes without an army of experts. Since this system is controlling everything, you will require less human interactive people to monitor it, since the SCADA system can monitor using this DNP3. So you have 4 main functions in SCADA. First is you will acquire the data acquisition, then you will communicate it over the network, and then you will present the data. Usually if you have ever seen a SCADA system, it is actually like a graphic. You can see all the components of your field and network, everything like a graph on your system, like a graphics. So it will present the data and it will help you to control. So here when you are communicating, you should know a protocol. So which protocol? This is where the DNP3 is used, and which transport, it can be any transport medium, wireless or wired. And even for controlling, since your master stations are responsible for the controlling, here also you can this control is done by your DNP3. It allows you to do this controlling. So this is exactly a brief about SCADA and DNP3. So we will see the implementation of this in brief in the next video. Thank you.